forgotten, haven't you? Yes, stand. Good boy. No, that's naughty. Go back. Stand. Stand, Apollo. Stand. Good boy. Good boy. Yes, but you're not next to me. I know I'm not next to you, but you don't need me to hold your hand, do you, if you had them? No, come on now, you've got to go back where you were. Stand there. Stand. No, Apollo, stand. Stand. Good boy, stand. Stand. No, I think they're not. Don't think they're right, are they, for me? I think they need to be down there, don't we? One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, I think I want to be in 8. I think it used to be 8, if I remember rightly. There you go. Might have been 9, but I think it's 8. Stand. No, it was 9, but anyway, never mind. We'll go at 8. Right. So it's just a very quick workout for Apollo. Fast work. Just to take any Whoopee Bucks that might be coming. Because he's going to the indoor school for a lesson today. And he hasn't been in the indoor school for a long time. Plus he hasn't had a workout this week. So, and trot. Canter then. And trot. Good boy. I did ask for trot, but he's straight into canter, bless him. Good boy. These stirrups are a bit short at 8. I'll have to put them down 1. It's not that my knees are bulging over, but that is short for me. I like to ride long. I find it's more comfortable on my knees because I've got, as you might imagine with all the riding I've got, dodgy knees. Have had keyhole surgery on one knee. Not on the other, but the one I had, it was the one you used to get up. It's your the leg that you used to get on that leg. So your left leg, that was the one I had keyhole surgery on, because obviously it takes more strain, because that's the one that you're putting all your weight on to climb up. Yeah, when you're not using a mounting block, of course, which I didn't need to do in my younger day. And canter. Good boy. Go on. There's the good boy. Go on now. And trot. Good boy. Good boy. Just gonna let those stirrups out. Whoa. You'll notice that these are Weber leathers. They have the little T-bar rather than a double strap under your leg, which I think is much nicer, much more comfortable when you're doing a lot of miles, as I do. Follow. Get that keeper alright. These are not the best Webers. These are, wow, they're not as good as the Wintec leather Webers. I much prefer them, but these are the old ones I had, so no point buying any new ones because I don't do enough riding in this saddle to warrant spending the money. that one. That was a bit of a crafty eat there, Apollo. I don't think I didn't notice. Not supposed to do that. He's not supposed to eat when he's got his bit in and we're working, because it's a bit disrespectful, I think. He's got plenty of time to eat when we're not working, because he only works a very small proportion of the time compared to his time off. So, yes, walk on. Ren's got 2 lessons this week, just to move the job along a bit, with Anne in the indoor school, so it doesn't really matter what the weather's going to be, unless of course I have to ride him out beforehand. Then I shall be riding in the rain, which I don't like. But that'll move the job along a bit, having 2 lessons in a week. Hope he gets on well. Then he'll get another couple next week, won't he? Anne, you may remember, is the lady that has given me show jumping lessons in the indoor school on Apollo. We had a right laugh, you might remember. Couldn't remember where it was going. Which is me. Totally me. I think that's probably part of the reason I never do dressage, really, is because even though I know the test at home, and can say it, you know, and do it at home, as soon as I get under pressure, I go to pot. Memory goes completely. So, it's always a bit of a... Yeah, it's always a bit... I don't do enough of it. I think that's why I get sort of nervous about the whole thing when I get to these show jumping or dressage events now. I never go show jumping or cross country now like I used to when I was younger. Yeah, too much risk of falling off. And Apollo really throws you out the saddle as well, so you've got to contend with going over the jump and then throwing yourself almost backwards to keep from falling over his head, because he really throws his legs up at the back. Whew. As you can see in his jumping over, freestyle over the jumps in the menage. He's doing his normal thing. He's a bit of a wanderer, as Apollo. He sort of wanders about. We don't sort of have a little bit of rein contact. Farouk tends to go straight line. Him, no, I'll just wander over this side and then I'll wander over that side. Good boy. Oh, I think I'll just mention, because I haven't got time to really write following up comments and that, because it does take quite a lot of time. Just even giving them the, just even reading them takes a long time. But I'll just mention about treats, because this comes up quite a lot. And the treats that we give Apollo for doing his jumping or whatever, the same with Bella, they are grass nuggets. So it's not really a treat as such. So of course we don't feed those nuggets in their bowls unless it's just a little thank you thing. So they're not treats like polos. So you definitely cannot give too many, because it's not going to hurt their digestion or anything. And people think, oh, well, they're only doing it because of the treats. Well, that's not true. I think anybody that knows horses and has trained horses realises that you cannot get a horse to do something just for a treat. You can't get, say, Apollo to run about after wrens playing on treats. They have to have a willingness and a wanting to do it. And same even with just the fetch. You cannot get a horse to fetch a bucket just by giving it a treat. You've got to, Apollo automatically has always lifted things. That's him. Now Farouk, no. Farouk I had to teach to hold. And that was quite a long process because he's a bit of a scaredy cat, as you know, Farouk. And he was a bit worried about the whole thing. But now he's got it. He will fetch his bucket over to you. Not just lift it, he will fetch it. But that was a taught thing. But now he's learnt it, he enjoys doing it because he feels that that's an accomplishment. And he will offer it when you don't ask for it. That is not something you can just say, oh, here's a treat if you go and get your bucket. You can do, I suppose, with Apollo because he wouldn't know what that meant, but he would just sometimes would go and get his bucket or a ball or whatever just because he wants to, without any training. Farouk is a trained retriever, just as you would do for a gun dog. It's exactly the same method of teaching a gun dog to retrieve a pheasant as it is to teach Farouk to hold and bring his bucket. Right, we're going to have now a left lead canter, aren't we, Apollo? Because he's remembered all this, even though I haven't ridden him. Well, this is my second time riding him in God knows how many. So, it's, how I do it is slight flexion at the pole, so it's slightly fore, slightly shoulder fore, and then it's, to ask for the canter, it is right leg back for a left lead canter.
Just to add, I ask with the leg that goes back. You can do it the other way around, but for my mind, it makes more sense to ask with the leg that goes back so that when you're doing flying changes, it's easier.
Canter! Up. Good boy. Straight into it. Collected canter. You can see the left shoulder, beg your pardon, is leading, which is correct for a left lead canter. Go on now. Yes, I know, it's a bit of a branch, but you're not frightened of that. You're not for uncles. Come on. Go on now. Canter on now. So open him up a bit. Bit of a pipe opener. And whoa. Good boy. Fairly neat stop. Didn't prepare him as much as I should have done really. I did it mostly on the voice without sitting back into the saddle and all that. But anyway. So we'll just have a walk to the gate and then I'm going to ask the right lead canter. So shoulder fore, inside leg on the girth, right leg back, and canter. Yep, and away he goes. Slower. So I'm sitting and bringing him in just by my back and seat. Good boy. It wasn't pulling him back with the reins. Come on. Otherwise he would not be in self-carriage. Self-carriage is when he's going along in his own pace and you're not holding him together. Good boy. Come on. Yep. Well, he seems really quiet. So I don't want to overdo it. I don't want him to be dead to the leg because he's tired. So I'm not going to do too much. Yes. Because I want for him to be forward going enough for Renz, because Renz is a very gentle rider. He uses very little leg and very little rein. So we need not to overdo Apollo and make him tired, because collected canter is quite tiring compared to your normal canter, because you have to really squash their cells together, front and back get sort of squashed together in collection. The hind legs come right underneath, and you get a lot more lift, because they have to, it will, especially with Apollo, as you know, he really lifts himself anyway. He's a very jumping canter. But collected, it's even more, because of course I'm asking him not to go forward. I'm asking him really to canter on the spot, more or less, aren't I? So it's a lot more energetic. So we're going to go, and canter, steady, steady. I was ready for him to do a little bit of a whoopee buck there, because it's going home, steady. It's not strong, but he's a little bit more forward going than I would want for a beginner. So I'm having to keep hold of the rein, and I've allowed him to go walk and whoa, because that was quite forward.
If you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon. We love reading the comments, we love emojis, and we'd love a thumbs up. If you would like to catch up on some of our earlier videos, just click on the Apollo icon, which will take you to our home page. We have over 1,000 videos to choose from. You can also sort by the most popular, the oldest or the newest. Thanks for watching. TTFN.